Hi guys, welcome back to another video. This video is the start of a new series where I'm basically just going to be drawing Demon Slayer characters' eyes. And I figured what better way but to start off the series by drawing everyone's favorite donut. I picked to do Rengoku first because I figured his eye would be a good warm-up, especially because I have a tendency to draw him a lot and I've wanted to draw his eye for a while. What kickstarted the idea to do this was I started doing a new thing with my sketchbook where I would draw things and then paste it into my sketchbook, and I would always Sharpie out the page behind it to make the page black. That, and while on stream on reality, I drew Akaza's and Muzan's eye, whose eyes I am going to redraw for this series. And after each video, I'm going to put up a poll with 4 to 6 characters' eyes whose you can choose from for me to draw next. I'm going to do the top 2 in the poll, but I only did Rengoku's eye in this video because it is just a Kickstarter. But I will also be doing variations of eyes. For example, the master, I can do his eyes before and after he went blind. Now for Rengoku's eye, I did take the picture from one of the scenes where it was the last couple scenes where he was alive, and we're not going to talk about that because that was the only eye reference I could get that wasn't both eyes or was his full face. But for the eye and the shadows, I sketched out where the shadows would be lighter and every line that I wanted to fully sketch in black was a lot darker. Like you can see on the outside of the eyelash bit of the eyes and his eyeliner. But taking focus off of the actual drawing, we're going to ignore the very chipped nail polish that I've picked off my fingers and painted on poorly. Aside from that though, while I was drawing the color bit of his eye, I'm not sure what it's called, but that area of his eye and his pupil, what was going through my mind was how am I going to draw this, because I normally fill it all in with the lighter color, then I did a darker color, and we all know Rengoku has white pupils and 2 different colored eyes, but his eyes were very fun to draw overall. Also, a little pro tip, if you want to draw on paper with markers but you don't want to get the marker all over your desk, especially if it would be hard to wipe off, then just put a whiteboard under it, because you can easily wipe off whiteboards, especially if it is alcohol markers. Then you can just spray some alcohol on it and wipe it off with a napkin. It works perfectly. Anyways, as I was lining this, I didn't color in the black bit, but I do color it in with a bigger Sharpie, but I did color in the smaller bits with the Sharpie, the small point Sharpie that people normally write with, so that way the small areas wouldn't bleed out into the white part of the eye or anything. And at this point, I realized I forgot to use the kneaded eraser to kind of lighten the lines before I drew it. Even though the kneaded eraser doesn't do much, it does help. Then I started to do the final lines around the eye with quick, short strokes that actually worked pretty well, and I also colored in the smaller bits of the eye like I had mentioned before. After I finished coloring all of the black with the eye, I started going in with the skin tone. It's a lighter skin tone, it's just a basic alcohol marker that I found at Michael's. I made sure to color all around the square first, and then as you can see, I switched from the brush side to the bullet nib side. Well, not bullet nib, chiseled nib. Just that way I could fill in the area quicker, but that side is a lot juicier, so it does leak under the paper more. But I did put all of the lighter color under instead of only filling in the areas where the lighter color would be, because it's easier to do shadows that way, and that way if you miss a bit, it's not that noticeable. After I had quickly finished filling in the color, I did go in with a not medium skin tone, but tanner skin tone Sharpie that you can see me swatching it in the corner even though my fingers keep covering it. I always use that as a shadow, but they do dry out kind of quickly, especially if you do use that specific color a lot. I use that Sharpie color to color in Ravi's skin tone, so it was incredibly dry, especially because I draw Ravi a lot. But if a marker that you're using is doing that, just pop the cap back on and slap it on your hand a ton of times with the cap facing the floor, and you can get enough ink out to finish exactly what you're doing. And when I tell you that matching the colors for his eyes wasn't exactly difficult, but it was a lot harder than I expected it to be, especially because I had done this before when I was drawing little chibi Kyoujurou, but I did kind of mess his eye color up there. But I would suggest making sure to swatch the colors and not just directly go in, and if you even need to, make sure they blend together well, because that helps a lot when it comes to coloring things, especially eyes. Anyways, while I was coloring in the yellowy orange bit of the eye and also the red bit, I made sure to scribble kind of over where the colors intersect with each other really well so that way it blended neatly. And don't worry if some of the orangey yellow gets into where the red is supposed to be. I would say worry more about the white, especially if you don't have a marker to go over with, but the red did overlap with the orange pretty well, so that way it wasn't that noticeable that the orange kind of leaked over at the top. And I just repeated the same pattern of coloring over the intersecting bit of the eye and making sure to swatch beforehand. And even though I was careful, these markers bleed really easily, so it did get into the white pupil bit of the eye, but you can just use a basic whiteout pen or a white gel pen like I'm doing here to fix that. But be careful, because some pens, especially like that, will pick up the color from underneath and turn it like a pink or a lighter green color. And then when I was doing the shiny bit of the eye, I would just scribble on the gel pen and then I would smooth it out with my finger, whichever one was available. And while you're doing this, make sure you don't have anything else on your fingers, because that can definitely alter the color of the white gel pen. After I finished that, I made sure to color in the shadow of the eye. I used my medium gray to color in the shadow of the eye, or detailing of it, whichever you prefer. Then I went in with a slightly darker one. Even though this wasn't on the reference, I did it anyway. Slightly darker one, more up in the corner, and then I did a slightly lighter one around the white bit, just to add more of a gradient-esque type of thing. Even though one's a more warm gray and one's a cooler gray, which I don't like, but I am getting more gray markers soon. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, darling. This is the first episode in the Drawing Demon Slayer Characters' Eyes series. There will be a poll up after this video is posted where you can go vote on which Demon Slayer Characters' Eyes will be available to vote on. And don't worry, if you think a character's eye should be in the poll, comment it down below, and maybe not the next video, but the video after that, or poll after that, will definitely have characters that have been suggested to me. But keep in mind, my art skill is more intermediate than expert, so some eyes, like Mitsuri's eyes, will be a lot more difficult for me to draw, so it might not be up on the polls right away. Anyways, make sure to like and subscribe and go drink some water, because I know I forget to do that when I'm watching YouTube. So go drink some water and have a good day. Bye, guys.